Yo, what is up? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back in today with another fantasy football video. In today's video, I go through the Week 8 running back start or sit decisions. I go through every single matchup on the Week 8 slate, and I tell you whether you should start or sit every single notable running back. Alright guys, so how Overlay DFS works is all you have to do is make 12 simple start-sit decisions. Are you going to go with Russell Wilson versus Deshaun Watson, Jared Goff, or Tom Brady? Who is going to score the most points in that matchup? All you got to do is make 12 picks. It is that simple. So now I'm going to go about how I do it. What I typically do is I like to go for games in here where there are stacks. So say in this game, you see at the wide receiver position, I think DeAndre Hopkins scores more than Michael Thomas, per se. So I go with Deshaun Watson as well. Now you have stacked them. It's like in those other DFS sites where you stack the players. I'm going to stack those players because I believe they are going to do great together. Now, with this, I'm going to make a total of 12 total picks plus 3 alternate picks. Now, the way this works is it used to be a single entry GPP. Now, in these, you can add up to 10 maximum entries, and the top 10% win 9 times your buy-in. It is actually amazing. And then if you hit that beautiful 12 and oh, you can get the progressive bonus in the $2 game of over $3,000. Now, if you're playing in some of those bigger games, the progressive bonus is over $27,000. That is going to be huge for you to hit if you can hit that, and I think you can. Now, you guys are going to come play against me, come compete with me. Let's see who's smarter, me or you. Likely is going to be you. So let's play together. Let's hit that 12-0 record bonus there, and the stars are going to align, and it's going to be amazing for you. Let's have some fun this week. Check out overlaydfs.com, link down below in the description. You're going to have a great time. Play the rest of the video now. Before I get into the video, I'd like to give you guys a word from my sponsor, overlaydfs.com. And we are back. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com, link down below in the description. They're a great website, great friends of mine, very fun to play on. I play on it every single week, so let's get right into the video now. First game to talk about here is the Thursday night matchup, Redskins at Vikings. I'm going to be starting up Dalvin Cook in this matchup. Obviously, the Redskins defense is a sieve. The Redskins defense is god-awful. Mr. Dalvin Cook is going to go and absolutely destroy the Redskins on Thursday night. I'm going to be sitting down Mr. AP and Wendell Smallwood. If his name was Wendell Bigwood, maybe he'd be in for a good game. But with AP being banged up and against the Vikings defense that is pretty tough, I would not be able to rely on Wendell Smallwood or AP in this game, given if AP was even 100%. Next game here is the Seahawks at the Atlanta Falcons. I'm starting both running backs in this matchup. Both Chris Carson and Devontae Freeman I like in this matchup. Obviously, Chris Carson kind of shit the bed and did not play all that good last week against the team that they were playing, who has escaped my head, but they did not play very well this game against the Falcons. The Falcons' run defense is god-awful. Mr. Chris Carson is probably in for a touchdown. He's in for some PPR work, some catches. So I think Chris Carson should be in for a huge matchup. And Devontae Freeman is in for a big game as well. Matt Ryan, if he plays, will not be 100%. I can assure you of that. He'll probably be more like 75%. I think they're going to try to run the ball a bit more in this game. Now, the Seahawks defense has looked good, but they haven't looked that amazing against the run. I think Devontae Freeman is in for a huge game, given Matt Ryan's health is not to the max right now. Next game here is the Chargers at the Chicago Bears. I'm starting up Austin Eckler in this game. For sure. Last week he played great. I think what they realized is that Melvin Gordon is a sorry-ass running back. He fumbled a bunch of times on the goal line, was not able to perform for the team, could not get in against the Tennessee Titans. I think Austin Eckler, on the other hand, is going to get a lot of work. Austin Eckler is going to be the guy that they rely on for the pass catching, the goal line, and everything. You saw when Austin Eckler was just on the team without Melvin Gordon, they were playing phenomenal. They were winning games. They were scoring a lot of points, and Austin Eckler was scoring a lot of points. Once Melvin Gordon came back, then it turned all on its head, and they both ended up shitting the bed. But now I think it's just going to be Austin Eckler, and you can really rely on him in the next coming weeks. Melvin Gordon, like I said, is a guy I'm definitely not trying to start at all this week, but he does have the because you can start him in certain situations. The Chicago defense did not look all that good against the run last week. Latavius Murray had a monster game. I think Melvin Gordon could have an okay enough game to be warranting a start this week. I'm sitting down Demont and Tariq Cohen. David Montgomery has taken a shit on my lineup too many weeks in a row for me to rely on him. Last week he scored like fucking 2 points, fumbled the ball, played terrible. This week against the Chargers, I think it'll be the same thing. You cannot rely on him. Same thing with Tariq Cohen. I have no allegiance to the 5'6" man in Chicago. Next game here is the Giants at the Detroit Lions. I think this should be a high-scoring matchup. I'm going to be starting Saquon Barkley in this game for sure. The Giants clearly love running the ball with Saquon. Saquon pretty much finds the end zone at least once every single game. This game should be no different from Mr. Barkley. Ty Johnson gets the start, but he's got the because now they've signed Paul Perkins. I'm sitting Paul Perkins, sitting J.D. McKissick, but I think I would honestly, I would just roll out Ty Johnson if you're in a shit situation. I think he could be good this week. But you got to keep in mind that we don't know necessarily what the split will be, how many more touches Johnson will get compared to Perkins or compared to J.D. McKissick. Next game here is the Jets at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm starting Lev Bell and Leonard Fournette in this matchup. Le'Veon Bell has looked pretty good the last couple of weeks, even though he hasn't scored too many points because he's been playing against tough defenses. The Jacksonville defense will spread like the Red Sea, like his name was Moses, and he's going to run straight through that defense. And Le'Veon Bell is in for a monster game this week against the Jaguars through the air and through the ground. Le'Veon Bell was not seeing ghosts on Sunday night like Monday night, I should say, like his teammate Sammy Myers. I'm also going to be starting Leonard Fournette in this matchup. Now, a few weeks ago, we saw him run 200 plus yards. This game against the Jets, where we see a bit better of a defense, I think Leonard Fournette still is going to be able to run free on the Jets. Obviously, the Jets defense is just okay, and Leonard Fournette is the king of getting volume. Volume is key for consistency in fantasy football, and when you know he's going to get 15 plus touches, even potentially 20 plus touches in every single game, you know he's in for a big matchup this week against the Jets. Next game here is the Bengals at the LA Rams. I'm starting Todd Gurley in this matchup. Todd Gurley has obviously been pretty consistent the last couple of weeks, ending up scoring touchdowns in a bunch of the past couple of games. I think obviously you have to rely on the touchdown for him, but I think he should be fine. Joe Mixon is an obvious sit to me. Can't fucking stand Joe Mixon. He ends up finding the end zone like every other week and scoring. He found it last week. I doubt he finds it this week. I doubt that the fucking Bengals even find the end zone this week at all. Joe Mixon is going to be atrocious in this game. You don't want anything to do with Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is a permanent sit for me. I can't fucking stand that guy. Unless you're in a terrible, terrible situation, there's no way Joe Mixon should be sending anywhere near your starting lineup. Next game here is the Buccaneers at the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to be starting up Derrick Henry in this game. Derrick Henry is a guy that I'm starting every single week. He's been playing quite well the last couple of games. Obviously, he's a back who can't catch the ball. The man has fucking butterfingers. I know it's close to Halloween, so he may be a bit hungry, but his hands do not work. He has feet for hands. He's god-awful in that, but I think against the Buccaneers, he's going to be able to run free Willie in this game. I'm going to be sitting down Peyton Barber and Rojo in this game because Peyton Barber and Rojo, you never know which back it'll be. One week it'll be Peyton Barber, one week it'll be Ronald Jones, another week it'll be Dare Abaduduga, or however the fuck you say his last name. It'll be a different back every single week, so you cannot trust them, and especially against a Titans run defense that has looked great. I want nothing to do with that. Next game, here's the Eagles at the Bills. I'm going to be starting up Frank Gore in this game as well as Devin Singletary. Now, Frank Gore and Devin Singletary both get the because they've been splitting touches. Now, Frank Gore, obviously, if Devin Singletary magically died again, would be a great start this game against the Eagles, but Devin Singletary is back, and I think Devin Singletary you can still start, but you have to be in a tougher situation to start either of these guys. I'm sitting down both Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders in Sunday's matchup. Jordan Howard is obviously a goal line back. He's been feasting in the last couple of games, but if I'm being honest with you, the Bills defense is good, and I think Jordan Howard will not be able to grace that beautiful touchdown zone. Miles Sanders, on the other hand, is a pass-catching back. He's been playing pretty good the last couple of weeks, catching long balls. This game against the Bills, I do not see that in Miles Sanders' future. I would definitely consider sitting both of these guys in that matchup. Next game here is the Broncos at the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to be starting Philip Lindsay, Rolls-Royce Freeman, and Marlon Mack in this matchup. Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman do get the though, because last week Philip Lindsay didn't do shit, and it was Rolls-Royce. The last couple of weeks, it's been more towards Rolls-Royce, so I think I'd feel a bit safer starting Rolls-Royce, even though he's not much of a pass-catching back, but he has been getting a lot of balls thrown his way by Joe Flacco. I think this game is a lot closer than the game was against the Kansas City Chiefs, but at the end of the day, I think that the Broncos are going to get skull-fucked in this matchup. I think that Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman don't put up that good of games, and the fact that they're splitting touches makes it very hard to decide which one to start. Obviously, Marlon Mack is a key to the Colts offense. They like to run the damn ball over there in Indy, and I think Marlon Mack is in for a monster game against the Denver defense that really has not been able to stop anyone. Obviously, last week they somewhat stopped LaShawn McCoy, but they can't even stop anyone. Like, if I was to run out there, I guarantee you I could run for fucking 30 yards, or maybe just 3 yards, because obviously I'm 5'9" and weigh 150 pounds, so I'd get my ass rocked by any type of back on the defensive side. Next game here is the Cardinals at the Saints. I'm going to be starting Alvin Kamara in this game. If he plays, in my head right now, he is likely going to be out. So Latavius Murray is a clear start in this matchup. Latavius Murray last week went absolutely sicko mode, 30-plus points against the Bears. This week, they're playing the soft-ass Cardinals defense. You don't have to worry about Pat Pete when you're Latavius Murray. He can go ham in this game, and I think he absolutely eviscerates the Cardinals defense. Chase Edmonds is in for me, whether or not David Johnson plays. Right now, I feel like David Johnson's 50-50 to play. I'm 100% playing Chase Edmonds, whether he's in or out. We saw last week Chase Edmonds feast. If David Johnson is active, they may use him as a bit of a decoy like they did last week, make you study David Johnson, and at the end of the way, the only person getting the Johnson was you, straight in the ass if you started David Johnson because he fucked you over. I think Chase Edmonds is in for a huge week this week against the Saints, and I'm sitting down Mr. David Johnson. Next game here is the Panthers at the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to be starting up Christian McCaffrey in this game. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, regardless of the defense, will dominate. The 49ers defense has looked like one of the best defenses in the league besides the Patriots. I still think Christian McCaffrey goes absolutely hog wild, probably scores 20-plus points, a couple of tutties, and a bunch of receiving yards. I love Christian McCaffrey this week, regardless of the matchup. I'm going to be starting Tevin Coleman and Matthew Breida in this game. Obviously, this is not the most ideal game for either of them. The Panthers defense has looked pretty good, but I think Tevin Coleman gets enough work in the passing game to make him worth a start. And Matt Breida, he doesn't have the but I think I'd give him the Obviously, you rely a lot on him going hog wild and them just running the ball consistently. I should say. I think they're going to try to throw the ball a bit more in this game, but I think Matt Breida should still be fine and be a flex-worthy play. Next game here is the Raiders at the Houston Texans. I'm going to be starting up Josh Jacobs in this game for the Raiders. Obviously, right now, it's not 100% sure that he is going to play, but if he plays, he's definitely worthy of a start against the Houston Texans. Next player in this game is Carlos Hyde for the Houston Texans. I would be willing to start him. Now, obviously, he's been a guy that has just been consistent. He scores like 9 or 10 points every single game. If that's what you need out of running back, go ahead and start him. But if there are a lot of other options, I would be looking their way for a guy who can definitely have a bigger game than Carlos Hyde. I'm going to be sitting down Duke Johnson in this game. I don't really feel comfortable starting Duke Johnson in a lot of these games. You don't know how much they're going to be dumping the ball off to him. He doesn't get all that much work in the rushing game, so you got to rely on the fact that Houston gets down and has to pass the ball to Mr. Duke Johnson, so he's a sit for me. Next game on the slate is the Browns at the New England Patriots. I'm going to be starting up Nick Chubb in this matchup, but he has the triple H in because I'm not really too sure he's going to be in for a huge matchup. Now, I think the key to success against the Patriots may be for them to hand the ball to Nick Chubb 1,000 times and for him to wear down the defense and let him do his thing. If that happens, he's definitely worthy of a start. In a lot of situations, you're going to have to start him because of the fact that likely he's your best back on your team, so I would definitely still consider him a start, but you got to temper your expectations against the Patriots. I'm starting Sony Michel and James White in this game. Obviously, Sony Michel has feasted in the last couple of games, crossing that end zone. James White got a touchdown call back from him last week. Otherwise, he probably would have had a 20-plus point performance. I think James White is in for a big game again this week. I'm sitting Brandon Bolden. I don't want to start him. Obviously, if you're in a terrible situation, you may be able to start him. But to me, he's not even on the screen because I don't even think many people have him rostered on their fantasy football team. Next game here is the Packers at the Chiefs. Now, this is a matchup that I would have been looking forward to given Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes were healthy to play in this game. Pat Mahomes likely is out, obviously. Aaron Rodgers in. I'm going to be starting Aaron Jones in this game for the Packers. Aaron Jones has been pretty solid the last couple of weeks. Obviously, he drops a few wide open passes. He fucking makes stupid decisions, but at the end of the day, he's still worthy of a start because Matt LaFleur likes running the ball. Jamal Williams is an because he's obviously the second back on the team, but given he could cross that plane and score that touchdown against the Chiefs, I would be willing to start him in this matchup. Next start for the Chiefs is LaShawn McCoy. Now, LaShawn McCoy has not been playing too hot. Maybe he's been seeing ghosts like his name was Sam Darnold. knock one time if you're with me. But I think LaShawn McCoy is in for a big matchup this week against the Packers. Not too much of a big matchup, but I think they're just going to try to commit to the run without Pat Mahomes. I'm going to be sitting down Damian Williams because Damian Williams hasn't really done shit this season. I'm definitely considering sitting him in the next couple of games until he eventually is able to turn it around when Pat Mahomes comes back and is healthy. Final game here is the Monday night matchup between the Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So if you made it this far, make sure to click that subscribe button. So I'm going to be starting up James Conner in this game. James Conner obviously likely should play, is going to go balls deep in the Dolphins defense. He's going to eviscerate the Dolphins blowhole and do dirty things to them. James Conner is going to destroy the Dolphins defense in this game. There's no chance. James Conner's probably going to go for another 20-plus point game. I'm sitting Kenyon Drake, Kalen Ballage, Mark Walton, all guys for the Dolphins. Obviously, you could do a lot worse than a guy like Mark Walton, but I don't really want to start any of those guys. Obviously, Kalen Ballage, to me, is like useless now. I think Mark Walton's getting more work. Benny Snell is obviously a sit as well, unless James Conner is miraculously dead on Monday night. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you happen to enjoy, you happen to chuckle, make sure to click that subscribe button. I love each and every single one of you guys that watch my videos every single day. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. Have a great goddamn day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.